I, F21, live with my mom, F50, and my stepdad, M35. I was born and brought up all my life in the quiet town of Dayton, Ohio. As an only daughter, I have been closest to my best friend Emily, who always possessed an air of mystery that intrigued those around her. Her fiery red hair and fair complexion gave her a unique beauty that captivated onlookers. Being from a broken home, our friendship became Emily's anchor, providing her with the stability and comfort she craved. We had a bond that defied distance and time, a friendship forged in the fires of shared secrets and countless adventures. She was more than a companion. She was my confidant, my partner in crime, and someone I considered a sister. From the earliest days of our childhood, we had been inseparable, our friendship growing stronger with each passing year. We had shared countless memories in the sleepy town of Dayton, our lives woven together like a patchwork quilt. Our friendship was the anchor that kept us grounded in the midst of life's storms. We attended the same schools, sat side by side during lunch breaks, and practically lived in each other's houses. Our friendship was a constant in the ever-changing landscape of our lives. As we journeyed through school together, we faced the challenges of growing up hand in hand. From the nerve-wracking first day of kindergarten to the bittersweet moments of high school graduation, we supported each other every step of the way. Our bond wasn't just about the good times, it was about weathering the storms of adolescence, navigating the complexities of friendships, and discovering who we were meant to be. Our lives were a blend of shared secrets and whispered dreams. We laughed together until tears streamed down our faces, and we cried on each other's shoulders during moments of heartbreak. The walls of vulnerability crumbled in front of her, and we bared our souls without fear of judgment. She knew my strengths and weaknesses, my triumphs and my failures. There was an unspoken understanding between us that made our friendship unbreakable. I still remember in those innocent years, Emily became privy to the difficulties of my family dynamics. We giggled about school crushes and shared anxieties about upcoming exams, but most importantly, Emily was there during the tumultuous times when my real dad lived with them. The echoes of those moments resonated through the years, shaping the foundation of their friendship. One afternoon, as we lounged beneath the oak tree, I told her, "Emily, you know how things are at home. My real dad is back and it's been tough." My voice carried a weight of vulnerability and her eyes held a mixture of sadness and apprehension. Emily, always the empathetic listener, responded with a comforting touch on my arm. "Tell me what's going on, Sarah. You know you can share anything with me." I took a deep breath and my gaze fixed on the swaying branches above. "He's been here for a few weeks now and it's like walking on eggshells. Mom and they argue a lot. I don't know what to do." Emily squeezed my hand reassuringly. "You're not alone in this, Sarah. I'm right here with you. Maybe talking about it will help." Over the course of many afternoons, I and Emily found solace beneath the oak tree. I confided in Emily about the strained relationship between her parents, the late-night arguments that seeped through the walls, and the suspicion that cast a shadow over her family. Emily, in turn, offered a listening ear and words of comfort, understanding the delicate nature of the situation. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the town, I told her, "It's like a storm, Emily. The tension is thick and I can feel it in the air. Mom thinks Dad is cheating and it tears the family apart." Emily, sitting cross-legged beside me, reached for my hand. "I can't imagine how hard this is for you, but I want you to know you're not alone. Whatever you need, I'm here." During the tumultuous times, Emily's unwavering support became a constant support for me. She was the anchor that kept me grounded, the one person who knew the intricacies of my family's struggles and the turmoil that accompanied my parents' arguments. Emily's presence provided a respite from the chaos, offering me a sanctuary where she could be vulnerable without judgment. I will never forget how she was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I could never fathom her doing me dirty. However, my parents have been married for 20 years, and had always been a happy couple until my dad cheated on my mom with his boss, which made them get divorced. My parents getting divorced is what left me broken and made me not believe in love or any relationship except the friendship I shared with Emily. As the years passed and we transitioned from childhood to adolescence, the dynamics of my family shifted. My parents' relationship faced trials and tribulations, but Emily remained a constant, weathering the storms with me. The oak tree, witness to their shared confidences, stood tall as a silent sentinel, its branches a testament to the enduring strength of their friendship. One evening, amidst the fading sunlight, I told her with a feeling of nostalgia, "Remember when we used to sit here and talk about everything? The world seemed simpler then." Emily nodded, a wistful smile playing on her lips. "It may feel like life has gotten more complicated, but one thing hasn't changed: our friendship. We've been through so much together, and I wouldn't have it any other way." Our friendship wasn't just a highlight reel of joyous moments. It was a narrative of shared vulnerabilities, mutual understanding, and a promise to stand by each other's side, no matter what the future holds. However, it was strange how Emily never really talked much about her battles and always tried to bottle up, and even I never really forced her to speak about anything but always assured her that I'm there for her no matter what. A strange day when I heard the news that Emily was leaving the town. It was an ordinary afternoon when Emily and I sat beneath the familiar oak tree, the symbol of our friendship's endurance. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a golden hue on the ground, as Emily hesitated before breaking the news. "Sarah," she began, her voice a delicate tremor. "My mom's job is shifting and we have to move. I'm changing high schools." The words hung in the air, and for a moment the world seemed to be still. I could feel the weight of the impending separation settling over us, a heavy silence that contrasted sharply with the playful rustle of leaves above. I stared at Emily, my eyes wide with disbelief, as the reality of her departure sank in. The oak tree, witness to countless conversations and shared secrets, seemed to mourn the impending change, its branches offering a comforting embrace that now felt bittersweet. Tears welled up in my eyes, blurring the image of my dearest friend. "No, Em, you can't leave," I whispered, the words catching in my throat. "We've been through so much together. How can you just go?" She reached out, her hand finding mine, and a tear slid down her cheek. "I don't want to, Sarah, but my mom's job is important, and we have to go where it takes us." The reality of the situation hit me like a tidal wave, and emotions I hadn't anticipated surged within. It wasn't just about saying goodbye to a friend. It was about parting ways with the person who had been my anchor through the storms of adolescence. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions, each passing moment bringing us closer to the inevitable farewell. As Emily packed her belongings and we shared our last moments in the town we had called home, the weight of the impending separation pressed heavily on my heart. On the eve before her departure, we sat beneath the oak tree, the fading sunlight casting long shadows around us. Emily's eyes reflected the same sorrow that echoed in my heart. "I'm going to miss you so much, Sarah," she admitted, her voice choked with emotion. Unable to hold back the tears any longer, I buried my face in her shoulder, embracing her tightly. "I don't know how I'm going to get through this without you, Em. It feels like a part of me is being ripped away." The day of her departure arrived, and my heart felt like an open wound. We stood in front of my house, the place where countless adventures had begun, our eyes mirroring the unspoken pain of parting. As Emily hugged me tightly, the dam of emotions burst. Tears streamed down my face, and I clung to her as if afraid to let go. "Promise me we'll stay in touch, Em. Promise me you won't forget our friendship," I pleaded, my voice choked with emotion. She held me at arm's length, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and determination. "I could never forget you, Sarah. Our friendship means the world to me, and no distance can change that." With a final embrace, Emily boarded the moving truck, and I stood on the sidewalk, watching as the vehicle carried her away from the town that held the echoes of our shared past. The oak tree, now a silent sentinel, seemed to whisper its own farewell, its branches waving in a somber farewell. As the truck disappeared around the corner, I felt a profound sense of loss. The bond we shared wasn't just a friendship, it was a lifeline that had seen us through the highs and lows of adolescence. Emily's departure left a void that felt insurmountable. In the days that followed, the town of Dayton seemed to lose its luster. Every street corner, every familiar landmark, held a memory of shared laughter and whispered secrets. The oak tree, once a symbol of our enduring friendship, now stood as a lonely reminder of the connection that had been severed. However, months and years passed, and Emily and I adapted to the rhythms of our respective lives. Despite the physical distance, our bond remained unbroken. We made it a ritual to FaceTime regularly, sharing snippets of our lives, laughing over inside jokes, and reminiscing about the times when our friendship was defined by the streets of Dayton and the shade of the oak tree. One ordinary day, however, held an extraordinary surprise. The doorbell rang, and when I opened it, there stood Emily, a radiant smile illuminating her face. Time seemed to freeze as we rushed into each other's arms, tears streaming down our faces. The joy of reunion was palpable, and the familiar warmth of our friendship enveloped us. We decided to revisit the old oak tree, the silent witness to the countless chapters of our lives. The nostalgia hung in the air as we settled into the familiar spot where we had once spilled our deepest secrets. The leaves rustled above, and the sunlight filtering through the branches seemed to infuse the moment with a golden glow. As we sat beneath the oak tree, Emily began sharing the intricacies of her life since our last conversation. The highs and lows of her new high school experience unfolded, and the challenges of making new friends in an unfamiliar environment became apparent. Her eyes sparkled with a mixture of excitement and vulnerability. "High school was a roller coaster, Sarah," she admitted, her voice tinged with both nostalgia and newfound wisdom. "But I met some incredible people who have become like family. And oh, I should tell you about someone special." The anticipation hung in the air as Emily hesitated, and then she burst into a radiant smile. "I have a boyfriend, Sarah. His name is Alex, and he's amazing. We've been together for a while now." I couldn't contain my joy as we squealed in delight, the old oak tree seemingly echoing our laughter. It was a beautiful revelation that marked a new chapter in Emily's life, and I couldn't have been happier for her. As we shared stories about Alex and the adventures they embarked on together, Emily's openness mirrored the growth of our friendship. The girl who once guarded her secrets with caution was now laying bare the intricacies of her heart. It was a testament to the strength of our connection, forged not only in shared laughter but also in the mutual understanding that had matured over the years. The sunlight began to fade, casting a gentle dusk glow on our surroundings. The air was filled with the fragrance of nostalgia, and the oak tree, witness to our shared journey, stood tall in silent approval. Emily's surprise visit had turned an ordinary day into an extraordinary celebration of friendship. The years apart seemed to dissolve in the joy of our reunion, and the oak tree once again became the stage for the unfolding stories of our lives. As we bid farewell to our cherished spot, I couldn't help but marvel at the resilience of our friendship. The physical distance and the passage of time had only served to deepen the connection between us. Emily's decision to open up about her new life, complete with the joy of newfound love, made me realize that some friendships were destined to endure, transcending the limitations imposed by distance. Fast forward 6 months and the absence of Emily's calls and messages began to cast a shadow on our unwavering connection. An unsettling feeling gnawed at me, whispering that something might have gone wrong. My attempts to reach out were met with silence, and the void left by her sudden disappearance became increasingly difficult to bear. Unable to shake off the concern that gnawed at my heart, I made a decision. It was time to bridge the physical distance once again and visit Emily. The road trip to her new city felt like a pilgrimage, each passing mile intensifying the urgency to unravel the mystery shrouding her silence. Arriving at Emily's doorstep, I couldn't shake off the palpable tension in the air. The house that was once a haven for secrets and shared laughter now stood as an enigma. The knocks on the door echoed through the hallway, and when it finally swung open, the person who greeted me was a mere shadow of the Emily I had known. Her eyes, once vibrant and filled with mischief, were now dull and haunted. The warmth that used to radiate from her smile was replaced by a fragile facade. As we embraced, I sensed the weight of unspoken pain, and the air crackled with an uncomfortable silence. We settled into the living room, and I mustered the courage to address the elephant in the room. "Emily, what happened? Why have you been silent for so long? I've been worried sick." She looked down, her hands fidgeting nervously. "I didn't want to burden you with my problems, Sarah. I thought I could handle it on my own." The vulnerability in her voice cut through the room and a knot tightened in my chest. "Emily, we've always shared everything. You're not burdening me. You're my friend. What's going on?" "I've never really talked about this, Sarah," she began, her voice a delicate whisper in the evening breeze. "But I think it's time." My curiosity piqued, and I nodded encouragingly. "You know you can share anything with me, Em. What's on your mind?" She took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the falling leaves. "I was in a relationship throughout high school. We were together from the time we got separated." The revelation hung in the air, a quiet acknowledgement of a concealed chapter in Emily's life. I couldn't help but feel a mixture of surprise and curiosity, wondering why she had kept this significant part of her journey hidden for so long. As if sensing my unspoken questions, Emily continued, "I was afraid to share, afraid of judgment. But it's become a crucial part of who I am, and I want you to know." We delved into a conversation that spanned the highs and lows of her relationship, the laughter, the shared dreams, and the challenges they faced. Emily's decision to keep this significant aspect of her life under wraps revealed the depth of her vulnerability and the fear of potential judgment. Over the following weeks, Emily shared the intricacies of her journey, the tender moments of first love, the shared dreams of the future, and the challenges that tested the strength of her relationship. It became evident that her silence was not a testament to a lack of trust, but rather a reflection of her internal struggles and the fear of how her story would be received. It wasn't until she turned 18 that the most intimate part of her life came into focus. With a mix of hesitation and liberation, Emily spoke of a significant milestone: the loss of her virginity to the boy she loved most, her high school sweetheart. The candor in her words painted a vivid picture of the complexity of young love, a journey marked by passion, vulnerability, and the intricacies of physical and emotional intimacy. Emily's decision to reveal this deeply personal aspect of her life was a testament to the evolving nature of our friendship, a bridge that allowed for deeper understanding and mutual acceptance. As Emily shared her experiences, I realized the weight of the burdens she had carried in silence. Her reluctance to disclose these aspects of her life wasn't rooted in a lack of trust, but rather in the fear of being judged or misunderstood. It became apparent that our friendship had reached a new level of intimacy, one that transcended shared secrets and encompassed a genuine understanding of each other's vulnerabilities. The revelation of Alex's betrayal shattered the foundation of her world. The person she believed would stand by her through thick and thin had become the source of her deepest anguish. In the aftermath of the heartbreak, Emily's coping mechanisms took a dark turn. "I couldn't face the pain, Sarah. I felt betrayed and lost, and I didn't know how to heal. So, I started sleeping around, drowning my sorrows in alcohol. I became a person I no longer recognized." The weight of her words hung heavily in the air. The once vibrant Emily, who had revealed her secrets beneath the oak tree, was now a survivor of a love that had left scars too deep to heal easily. The tumultuous journey through betrayal had transformed her into a person I hadn't known, a person she hadn't recognized herself. As the layers of her pain peeled away, I realized the extent of the solitude she had chosen. The silence, the ghosting, and the avoidance of our regular conversations were all shields she had erected to protect me from the storm of her unraveling. Tears welled up in my eyes as I reached out, taking her hands in mine. "Emily, you don't have to face this alone. I'm here for you. We'll navigate through this together, just like we always have." Since then, Emily was never the same before she changed into a whole new person where she took the heartbreak, making her bitter instead of better. She started smoking and drinking till she passed out and kept on sleeping around with anyone starting her hoe phase. After Emily's heartbreak, she entered what is often called a hoe phase. It's a period where she explored partying, drinking, and casual relationships as a way to cope with the pain of her past relationship. This phase wasn't about finding true love, but rather about embracing freedom, having fun, and letting loose. During this time, Emily threw herself into the party scene. She hit the town with friends, danced at clubs, and sipped on drinks. It was her way of temporarily escaping the hurt and letting go of the emotional baggage. The loud music, vibrant lights, and lively atmosphere offered a temporary distraction from the heartache she carried. In this phase, Emily wasn't looking for commitment. Instead, she embraced her independence, enjoying the thrill of the moment without the weight of emotional attachments. Casual relationships and one-night stands became a part of her lifestyle, providing a sense of liberation from the pain that still lingered. The partying and drinking weren't just about having a good time. They were Emily's way of asserting control over her life and emotions. It was a journey of self-discovery, an attempt to reclaim her identity outside the confines of a past relationship. Friends became her partners in crime during this phase, joining her in late-night escapades and adventures. The laughter, shared stories, and camaraderie provided a sense of solidarity, helping Emily navigate the complexities of her healing journey. However, beneath the surface of this carefree lifestyle, there was a vulnerability that Emily couldn't completely shake off. The partying and drinking were like a temporary band-aid, offering momentary relief, but not addressing the deeper wounds that needed healing. The air was thick with a mixture of nostalgia and anticipation as Emily returned to our hometown after months of healing and rediscovery. Her journey had been tumultuous, marked by heartbreak and the subsequent rebuilding of her shattered world. As we sat in the familiar living room, the walls seemed to resonate with the echoes of our shared history, but beneath the surface, a quiet tension lingered. I had wanted to share the news about my mom's newfound happiness, her meeting with a new guy, and the impending marriage that would reshape our family dynamics. However, a deep sense of empathy held me back. Emily, still navigating the aftermath of her heartbreak, deserved the time and space to heal before being confronted with the complexities of others' lives. The unspoken understanding between us created a delicate dance of conversations, carefully avoiding the topics that could trigger the rawness of recent wounds. Yet life had a way of weaving unexpected threads into the fabric of our narratives, and as fate would have it, the revelation about my mom's new relationship unfolded in a manner neither of us could have anticipated. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over our small town, I found myself sharing the news with Emily. The words tumbled out, tinged with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Emily, there's something I need to tell you. My mom met someone and they're getting married soon." Her eyes widened, a mix of surprise and curiosity dancing within their depths. "Wow, that's incredible news, Sarah. I'm happy for your mom. What's he like?" Relief washed over me as Emily's reaction was one of genuine happiness. It seemed the timing was right, and she was ready to embrace the joys and celebrations woven into the tapestry of our lives. He's a wonderful guy, Emily. His name is Mark. They met a few months ago and things just clicked. It's been a whirlwind of happiness for my mom, and I couldn't be happier for her, I shared, a smile playing on my lips. As the words settled, Emily's eyes sparkled with warmth. I can't wait to meet him. Your mom deserves all the happiness in the world, especially after everything she's been through. The days that followed were filled with a mix of wedding preparations and shared moments of joy. Emily, true to her promise of supporting my mom, became intricately involved in the planning, offering ideas and lending a helping hand. It was a beautiful contrast to the heaviness that had overshadowed our conversations in recent months. As the wedding day approached, the anticipation in the air was palpable. Emily and I found ourselves immersed in the joyous chaos of floral arrangements, wedding vows, and the promise of new beginnings. Yet beneath the surface, a subtle undercurrent of tension began to emerge, and it wasn't directly related to the wedding festivities. The day finally arrived when my mom, resplendent in her wedding gown, exchanged vows with Mark in a ceremony that felt like a celebration of love's enduring resilience. As the newlyweds received congratulatory hugs and well wishes, Emily's demeanor seemed slightly off-kilter. It was a subtle shift, one that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Later that evening, as we gathered for a small family dinner to celebrate the union, Emily's behavior took an unexpected turn. In the midst of laughter and toasts, I noticed her exchanging glances with Mark that seemed to linger a fraction longer than necessary. It was a peculiar dance of gazes, one that sparked a subtle discomfort within me. As the evening unfolded, the tension grew more palpable. Emily's interactions with Mark became increasingly charged with an energy that didn't align with the joyous occasion. It was as if an unspoken undercurrent of something unspoken simmered beneath the surface. Unable to contain my curiosity any longer, I pulled Emily aside for a private conversation. "Emily, is everything okay? You seem a bit off," I ventured, choosing my words carefully. A forced smile played on her lips as she responded, "Oh, I'm fine, Sarah. It's just been an emotional day, you know? Your mom's wedding, the celebration, it brings back memories." I nodded, understanding the weight of the day's significance. However, the unease lingered, and a gnawing suspicion nestled in the recesses of my mind. As the night progressed, Emily's behavior became even more puzzling. In a moment of vulnerability, she confessed, "I feel a bit betrayed, Sarah. Why didn't you tell me about your mom and Mark sooner? I thought we shared everything." The accusation hit me like a wave, catching me off guard. "Emily, I wanted to give you space to heal. I didn't want to burden you with more complexities while you were still navigating your own journey." Her eyes, filled with a mixture of hurt and frustration, bore into mine. "I get that, Sarah, but finding out from others, especially on a day like today, it just felt strange. Like you didn't trust me enough to share such important news." Guilt washed over me, and I realized the delicate balance between empathy and communication had tipped in a way that unintentionally wounded my dearest friend. I took a deep breath, acknowledging the validity of her feelings. "I'm sorry, Emily. I never meant to make you feel left out. It wasn't my intention to keep this from you." The air between us hung heavy with unspoken sentiments. In that moment, the dynamics of our friendship faced a test, one that would either deepen our understanding or introduce irreparable cracks. As the night wore on, Emily's interactions with Mark became more pronounced. Subtle touches, lingering glances, and a tone in her voice that held a hint of flirtation. It was a strange dance that unfolded before my eyes. The discomfort within me intensified, and a sense of betrayal festered. In a moment of courage, I confronted Emily about her behavior. "Emily, is everything okay? Your interactions with Mark seem a bit unusual." She looked away, her gaze avoiding mine. "I don't know what you're talking about, Sarah. I'm just being friendly. After all, he's family now." The justification felt forced, and the unease persisted. It was a situation I hadn't anticipated, a delicate dance of emotions that threatened to unravel the fabric of our friendship. As I observed the interactions between Emily and Mark, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something deeper was at play. Days turned into weeks, and the tension lingered, casting a shadow over the joyous union of my mom and Mark. Emily's behavior, once characterized by warmth and genuine support, had taken a turn that left me questioning the boundaries of friendship and the complexities woven into the human experience. One evening, unable to bear the weight of the unspoken tension any longer, I initiated a candid conversation with Emily. "Emily, we need to talk about what's been happening. Your interactions with Mark have been making me uncomfortable, and I can't ignore it any longer." She sighed, a mixture of resignation and vulnerability in her eyes. "Sarah, I didn't mean for things to get this complicated. It's just, he reminds me of someone from my past, someone I thought I had moved on from." At the moment, I didn't know how to react, but I was frozen with the whirlwind of emotions overtaking me. I was mad at her, but also deep down I was so scared that our friendship to end cause of what she did to us without even giving any second thought. It was so embarrassing for me. However, I asked her to leave me alone, and I left. The tranquility of my life was an illusion, a fleeting moment that crumbled away one fateful evening when I accidentally stumbled upon a disturbing secret. The revelation, unknown to my best friend Emily, would not only shatter the bonds of our friendship, but also unravel the fabric of trust that held my family together. However, I decided to meet her by visiting her place and be on good terms, forgetting the past as I understood how hard it was. As I approached Sarah's room, I overheard hushed whispers and muffled and moaning sounds that sent a chill down my spine. A strange tension hung in the air, and my instincts urged me to investigate further, to unravel the mystery veiled behind closed doors. The door to Emily's room was slightly ajar, allowing a sliver of light to pierce the darkness within. Hesitation gripped me for a moment, but the gnawing feeling of impending revelation pushed me forward. What I witnessed in that moment would alter the course of my life, leaving scars that time could never fully heal. As I pushed the door open, my eyes fell upon a sight that would forever be etched in my memory. Emily, my best friend and confidant, entangled in a secret affair with Mark, my stepfather. The shock struck me like a physical blow, stealing the air from my lungs as I grappled with the enormity of the betrayal unfolding before my eyes. Their faces, twisted in a mixture of guilt and pleasure, were a painful tableau that seared into my consciousness. The room, once a sanctuary of shared secrets and laughter, had transformed into a chamber of deceit. Time seemed to stretch, the seconds hanging heavily in the air as the weight of the truth pressed down on me. In that surreal moment, torn between loyalty towards Emily and my personal sense of justice, I found myself grappling with conflicting emotions. The foundation of trust that had bound our family together was crumbling, and the echoes of their indiscretions reverberated through the corridors of our home. The immediate surge of emotions was overwhelming: anger, betrayal, disbelief. I wanted to scream, to confront them, to erase the haunting images from my mind. Yet a paralyzing sense of shock rooted me to the spot, rendering me a silent witness to the unraveling of my world. As they became aware of my presence, the room fell into an oppressive silence. Eyes met, guilt mirrored in their expressions, and a heavy tension hung in the air. At that moment, the realization struck that my decision would shape the destiny of our relationships, friendship, family, and the delicate threads that held us all together. The days that followed were a blur of emotional turmoil. I grappled with the weight of the secret, torn between the loyalty I felt towards Emily and the need to protect my family from the impending storm. The facade of normalcy became a charade, and the web of deception threatened to ensnare us all. In the quiet moments when the truth echoed louder than the pretense, I found myself replaying the scenes in my mind. The pain of betrayal cut deep, and I struggled to reconcile the image of the people I loved with the harsh reality that now tainted their characters. My emotions swung like a pendulum, oscillating between the desire to confront them and the fear of unleashing a storm that could irreversibly alter the dynamics of our relationships. Emily, oblivious to my knowledge of the affair, continued to confide in me, blurring the lines between friendship and the truth I harbored. The internal conflict threatened to consume me, and I sought solace in the familiar spaces of our town, places that once held cherished memories but now felt tainted by the shadows of deception. The weight of the secret pressed down on me, a burden too heavy for a single soul to bear. As weeks passed, I oscillated between confronting Mark and Emily, and preserving the fragile semblance of normalcy that still clung to our lives. Each passing day felt like a descent into a dark abyss, and the toll on my mental and emotional well-being was evident in the shadows that clouded my once bright eyes. Emily, unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface, continued to share her dreams, fears, and aspirations with me. The irony of the situation was cruel. She confided in me, the very person who harbored the knowledge that could shatter her world. The weight of the secret gnawed at my conscience, and the internal struggle intensified. In the midst of the turmoil, a profound sense of isolation enveloped me. The burden of the secret created a chasm between Emily and me, a growing distance that widened with each passing day. I longed to confide in her, to share the pain and betrayal that now defined our shared history, but fear held me back. The question of whether to confront Mark and Sarah or to maintain the illusion of normalcy became a constant torment. The emotional toll manifested physically: sleepless nights, restless days, and a perpetual knot in the pit of my stomach. The weight of the truth threatened to crush me, and I found myself standing on the precipice of a decision that would alter the course of our lives. As the days turned into weeks, the weight of the secret bore down on me like an insurmountable burden. The facade of normalcy became an increasingly fragile construct, threatening to crumble at the slightest tremor. Emily, still blissfully unaware of the storm brewing within our shared world, continued to confide in me, further deepening the chasm of deceit. One evening, unable to contain the torment any longer, I confronted Sarah in a moment of vulnerability. The air was thick with the unsaid, and the tension between us hung like a heavy fog. "Emily, we need to talk about what I saw that night. The affair with Mark, it's tearing me apart," I confessed, my voice trembling with a mixture of anger and sorrow. Her eyes, once mirrors of shared laughter and shared secrets, now held a flicker of guilt. The room felt stifled, the air thick with unspoken truths. As Sarah stumbled through a clumsy explanation, attempting to justify her actions, the chasm between us widened. The confrontation left a bitter taste in my mouth, the bitter residue of betrayal and deceit. Emily, still unaware of the unfolding drama, continued to confide in me, oblivious to the storm that raged beneath the surface. In the days that followed, the weight of the secret became increasingly unbearable. The toll on my mental and emotional well-being was evident, and the once close friendship between Emily and me now felt like a fragile thread on the verge of snapping. The internal conflict reached its zenith, and I found myself standing at a crossroads. The decision to confront Mark and Emily, or to shield Emily from the harsh reality, weighed heavily on my shoulders. The lines between right and wrong blurred in the haze of emotions that enveloped me. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across our town, I made a choice. The weight of the secret, too heavy to bear alone, demanded resolution. In a moment of clarity, I decided to confront Mark and Emily, to expose the truth and confront the demons that haunted our shared existence. The confrontation was a tempest of emotions: accusations, denials, and the painful unraveling of a web of deceit. Emily, confronted with the harsh reality, faced a tidal wave of emotions that threatened to drown the bonds that once held us together. As the truth spilled out into the open, the aftermath was a landscape of broken trust and fractured relationships. The echoes of betrayal reverberated through the corridors of our shared history, leaving scars that time could never fully heal. In the aftermath of the revelation, the once close friendship between Emily and me lay in tatters. The chasm of deceit proved too wide to bridge, and the sense of isolation that enveloped me intensified. The town that once felt like a haven now held the bitter taste of betrayal in every corner. The decision to expose the affair had come at a great cost: the loss of a friendship that had weathered the storms of life, and the disintegration of a family dynamic that once felt unshakable. The repercussions of that fateful evening rippled through our lives, leaving a trail of broken bonds and shattered illusions. In the quiet moments that followed, I grappled with the aftermath of my decision. The weight of the secret had been lifted, but in its place remained the wreckage of relationships that may never fully mend. The tranquility of my life was a distant memory, replaced by the harsh reality of betrayal and the enduring consequences of choices made in the crucible of truth. As time moved forward, the town that once held the echoes of shared laughter and untold secrets became a witness to the scars left behind. The story of that fateful evening lingered in the whispers of the wind and the shadows that danced across the familiar streets. In the end, the journey from the tranquility of a seemingly idyllic life to the shattered remnants of a once close friendship was a testament to the fragile nature of trust and the unpredictable twists of fate. The tale of that evening would forever be etched in the annals of our shared history, a haunting reminder of the choices that defined our paths and the irreparable fractures that resulted from the weight of a devastating secret. Mark, once a trusted figure in our lives, emerged as the unexpected architect of our family's downfall. His charismatic demeanor, charming smile, and seemingly genuine affection concealed a darker truth, a penchant for deceit that shattered the foundation of trust we had built. With a disarming exterior that made him blend seamlessly into our lives, Mark's actions betrayed the very essence of the familial bonds we thought were unbreakable. Tall and well-groomed, he carried an air of sophistication that masked the deceit lurking beneath the surface. His affable nature, often the center of jovial family gatherings, became a facade concealing a betrayal that left us all reeling. Mark's calculated approach to deception was evident in the subtleties of his behavior. The way he navigated through our lives, seamlessly weaving a web of lies, was a testament to his cunning nature. From casual conversations to shared family moments, every interaction carried the weight of the hidden affair. a secret he guarded with a cold determination. His magnetic charm, once a source of comfort, now felt like a cruel joke. The betrayal cut deep, leaving scars that transcended the confines of familial bonds. The man who had stood beside my mother at the altar, vowing to cherish and protect, had become the very source of her heartbreak. Mark's ability to compartmentalize his emotions and maintain a facade of normalcy was chilling. His everyday interactions, rife with feigned affection and rehearsed smiles, added a layer of complexity to the unfolding drama. The betrayal was not merely physical, it was a violation of the emotional sanctity that had defined our family. As the truth unraveled, Mark's true character emerged from the shadows. The guilt and remorse he feigned were nothing more than a performance, a desperate attempt to salvage the remnants of his shattered reputation. The fallout of his deceit extended beyond the realms of our family, leaving a trail of broken trust and fractured relationships. On the other side of this convoluted tale was Emily, my once closest confidant, who found herself entangled in a web of emotions that would redefine the contours of our friendship. Her journey from a trusted friend to the epicenter of a heartbreaking scandal painted a portrait of vulnerability and misplaced trust. Emily, with her expressive eyes and infectious laughter, had been a constant presence in my life. Our shared history, woven into the fabric of countless memories, made the revelation of her affair with Mark all the more incomprehensible. Her choice, driven by a tumultuous emotional landscape, left both our families shattered. The echoes of Emily's past heartbreaks, once buried beneath layers of resilience, resurfaced with a vengeance. The scars she carried from previous relationships, dormant but not forgotten, played a significant role in the choices she made. The vulnerability she had shared with me now became a weapon turned against our shared history. In the aftermath of the revelation, Emily's once vibrant spirit dimmed. The weight of guilt and the consequences of her actions etched lines of sorrow on her face. The friendship that had once been a source of strength now became a casualty of misplaced affection. Emily's inability to confront her own demons, coupled with a desire for emotional validation, led her down a path of betrayal. Her misguided attempts to fill the void left by past heartbreaks only deepened the chasm of sorrow that enveloped us all. It was a stark reminder that even those closest to us could harbor hidden wounds that dictated their choices. The journey from a trusted confidant to the epicenter of a scandal was a painful metamorphosis for Emily. Her inability to resist the lure of a forbidden connection exposed the fragility of human emotions. In the wake of the revelation, Emily grappled with the consequences of her choices, navigating the storm of remorse and regret that followed. For my mother and me, the revelation of Mark's affair with Emily was not just a betrayal. It was a public humiliation that cast a shadow over our lives. The embarrassment of heartbreak, compounded by the tangled web of deceit, became a shared burden that tested the resilience of our spirits. My mother, once the epitome of strength, now bore the weight of a heart shattered by the man she had vowed to love. The embarrassment of facing a community that had witnessed our seemingly perfect family crumble was a bitter pill to swallow. Gossip spread like wildfire, and the judgmental whispers of neighbors and acquaintances became a constant backdrop to our shared pain. As my mother grappled with the public scrutiny, the realization that she had lost the love of her life to my best friend added a layer of embarrassment that cut deep. The unraveling of her marriage, once a source of joy and stability, became a spectacle that laid bare the vulnerabilities we had desperately tried to conceal. The embarrassment extended beyond the confines of our family and into the close-knit community we called home. The very spaces that had once felt comforting now echoed with the hushed conversations of judgment and pity. Every trip to the grocery store or a community event became a journey through a landscape tainted by the stain of scandal. For me, the embarrassment stemmed not only from the public humiliation, but also from the unraveling of a friendship that had defined my existence. The realization that my best friend had become the source of our family's disgrace added a layer of shame that left me questioning the very foundations of trust. Navigating the sea of judgment and embarrassment became a shared struggle for my mother and me. The once vibrant tapestry of our lives now bore the ugly stains of betrayal, forcing us to confront the harsh reality that our world had irrevocably changed. In the midst of the embarrassment, my mother and I clung to each other for support. Our shared pain became a bridge that connected us amidst the wreckage of broken trust. The embarrassment of heartbreak, though a bitter pill to swallow, became a catalyst for resilience and an unwavering determination to rebuild our lives. As we faced the judgmental glances and whispered conversations, a newfound strength emerged from the ashes of embarrassment. The journey from humiliation to healing became a testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure, evolve, and emerge stronger in the face of adversity. The embarrassment of heartbreak, once an overwhelming force threatening to drown us, transformed into a source of empowerment. The community's judgment, though a constant presence, became inconsequential in the grander narrative of rebuilding our lives and rediscovering the strength within us. In the tapestry of our shared history, the embarrassment of heartbreak became a thread, a painful but transformative element that added depth to our understanding of human frailty, the complexities of relationships, and the indomitable spirit that rises from the ashes of shattered illusions. All I have learned is life is a journey, a tumultuous ride through the highs and lows, where relationships often become the defining chapters that shape our narrative. Some relationships, like intricately woven tapestries, unravel life lessons that leave an indelible mark on our hearts and minds. Amidst the joys and sorrows, the laughter and tears, these connections become conduits for growth, forcing us to confront trust issues and navigate the intricate web of human emotions. In the early chapters of my life, relationships were a source of boundless joy and unwavering trust. The people around me, be it family or friends, contributed to a sense of security that painted the world with vibrant hues. However, as life unfolded its unpredictable script, I found myself facing the darker side of human connections. The betrayal, heartbreak, and the erosion of trust that can gnaw at the very core of our mental well-being. One relationship, in particular, became a crucible of life lessons, forcing me to confront trust issues that left scars on my soul. The emotional roller coaster that ensued became a harsh tutor, imparting lessons that no classroom could ever provide. Trust, once freely given, emerged as a fragile commodity, easily shattered by the actions of those we held dear. The impact of such experiences on one's mental health cannot be understated. The erosion of trust, akin to a slow but relentless tide, chips away at the foundations of our emotional stability. It leaves us grappling with insecurities, questioning our judgment, and fostering a wariness that colors our future interactions. The aftermath of betrayal is a landscape of emotional wreckage, where the debris of shattered trust litters the once serene terrain of our minds. In the aftermath of these tumultuous relationships, I found myself standing at a crossroads, a juncture where isolation became both a refuge and a battleground. The solitude offered respite from the cacophony of emotional turmoil, providing the necessary space to confront the scars left by broken trust. It was a period of introspection, a journey into the depths of my own psyche where healing became not just a choice but a necessity. In the cocoon of isolation, I learned the art of self-care, a balm for the wounds inflicted by fractured relationships. It became a time of self-discovery, an opportunity to understand the intricacies of my own emotions and the patterns that had led me to the precipice of heartbreak. The solitude, initially daunting, transformed into a sanctuary where I could rebuild the fragments of my trust and rediscover the resilience within. As I navigated the path of healing, the universe, in its mysterious ways, became a silent but profound teacher. It whispered lessons on the importance of boundaries, a revelation that reshaped my understanding of human connections. Boundaries, I learned, were not walls meant to isolate but fences designed to protect the delicate gardens of our hearts. They became the sentinels that guarded against trespasses, a shield against those who sought to exploit the vulnerabilities of trust. The realization dawned that boundaries were not a sign of distrust but rather a manifestation of self-love and self-respect. They delineated the contours of acceptable behavior, creating a framework for healthy relationships to thrive. In the crucible of heartbreak, I discovered that setting boundaries wasn't a manifestation of cynicism, but an acknowledgement of the inherent complexities within human connections. The lessons learned in isolation became the stepping stones to a renewed sense of self. The scars, once symbols of pain, transformed into badges of resilience. Trust, though scarred, became a phoenix rising from the ashes, stronger and wiser than before. The universe, in its cosmic wisdom, had orchestrated a symphony of healing, where the melody of self-discovery harmonized with the rhythm of newfound strength. As I emerged from the cocoon of isolation, the lessons learned became the guiding stars in the constellation of my relationships. The journey from trust issues to a nuanced understanding of boundaries equipped me with a discerning eye, allowing me to navigate the intricate dance of human connections with grace and wisdom. The scars, once symbols of vulnerability, now stood as testaments to the battles fought and the victories won. The tapestry of my life, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, betrayal and redemption, painted a portrait of resilience. In the grand tapestry of existence, relationships remained the brushstrokes that added depth and complexity to the canvas of my journey. In conclusion, life's relationships often serve as profound teachers, imparting lessons that transcend the boundaries of conventional wisdom. The impact on mental health, especially when trust is betrayed, is significant, leaving individuals grappling with a myriad of emotions. Yet, in the sanctuary of isolation and the embrace of self-discovery, one can find the tools for healing and growth. The universe, in its mysterious ways, teaches us that boundaries are not barriers to connection but essential frameworks for healthy relationships. They become the guardians of our emotional well-being, allowing us to navigate the delicate dance of human connections with a newfound sense of self-respect and self-love. In the grand tapestry of life, the lessons learned from tumultuous relationships become the threads that weave resilience, strength, and wisdom into the very fabric of our existence.